Shalom. First thing I want to do is give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh Shema Shai, Basham Kakadash. Devil to the apostle and elders of great millstone. Salutation, brothers, pushing this word with you, say with charity. Something real quick. Through the spirit, I'm doing a little biking. Trying to get this body in shape. And through the spirit, that's the same thing the Lord doing, is getting the body in shape. Like the scriptures refer to us having many members. All right. And the scriptures say what? Say, if you love me, do what? Feed my sheep. So even when you equate, eating correctly, all right, you got to do the same thing spiritually. All right. So we have to supply the hopefully elect with a, what you would call a healthy diet, man. All right. With a healthy diet, being able to judge through the spirit, when you're dealing with younger brothers, how to handle certain situations, it's the same thing, whether you're ready for certain workouts or not, or or you may be a brother that's seasoned, you got a lot of experience, and that experience teaches you, when you're dealing with certain individuals, how to deal with them, how to having that discernment, even coming when it comes to dealing with scoffers, because the food we have, all right, is undeniably good. This it. This the real meal. We not eating processed over here. We eating 100% organic. That's why the scriptures say, I will see you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you. And that's our job. And to teach the hopefully elect, and to guide them, all right, the proper way through the spirit. Now, when you go through the scriptures, you go through the spirit, you get in the scriptures, and the scriptures tell you, them that are weaned from the milk and are drawn from the breast, all right? That's, when you see through the spirit, certain individuals are growing, all right, desiring that sincere milk of the word, and they're growing through the spirit, but that takes a proper nutrition, all right? If you steady eating, like Jake being into all mannerisms of books, and and Solomon talked to that, with books there's no end. It's a book on everything. It's a book on how to cook. It's a book on this, a book on that. It's just books on every topic. But we have to hone in on the scriptures. Hone in on the history, proving the scriptures. If we go into another book, it's really just to pull something out of it to really prove the point that's coming out the scriptures, because Jake get involved in all these winds of doctrines, and that's how they get caught up in you got different camps believing in mermaids, and you got that's madness, man. That's madness, and the scriptures clearly tell you every flesh has one kind. Every flesh has one kind. Ain't no half man, half fish. If it is something out there like that, it's a fucking fish. It's a full fucking fish. You know what I'm saying? It's not a half man, half nothing. It's a fish. God damn it. It's a full motherfucking sea creature. All right. So, when you really meditate, in the spirit, the scriptures clearly tell you what the prophets will be doing. And the scriptures tell you what these niggas will be doing. All right, they gonna continue to be niggas. They're gonna be continue to be wicked. You know, and we, the hopefully elect, gotta do what? Continue in the things we learned, being assured of whom we learned, and that's really coming from our masters, man, our teachers, man, our senseis, you know, our professors, you know, some brothers like to say. However you put it, they're still over us through the spirit and guiding us and leading us in the proper way, you know. And especially if someone, especially you young men that's coming into faith, you know, and you believe, you know, you need to take heed to the information that's being given to you, because the scriptures say what esteem them highly for their works sake. So what that also means, those brothers that set up through the spirit has experience, all right, in dealing with certain situations in the faith, dealing with certain people, all right, dealing with all, you know, dealing with spirits and dealing with different things, you know. So the men that set up over you through the spirit in the camps, all right, are set up from Yahweh Shema Shai, man, not by man, you know. So if a brother through the spirit, you go for counsel, and you need to take heed to that counsel. Or if a brother call you through the spirit and tell you not to do something, all right, you need to take heed to that. Or to do something, you need to take heed to that, all right, because it can actually be detrimental to your salvation, you know. So, you know, now is not playtime. We not. This is like the scriptures say. When I was a child, I spake as a child. All right, you know. But now, you know, I put away childish things. We men now. So all of that partying, going out to the club, hey, that should be over with. All right, you go out and you enjoy yourself, whatever. But that shouldn't be your main thing you looking for every night, every other night. You know, through the spirit, we all sad. We all dealing with the flesh. We all dealing with society. We all dealing with this world. That don't mean, you know, you drink your fucking life away and you pretty much killing yourself. All right, like the scriptures say, in the era of our life, don't take your own life in the era. Really, you over drinking and over indulging, all right? You know, you pretty much killing yourself. You drowning yourself. You drowning away your sorrows, and then next thing you know, your stomach hurt, your liver, you know, your kidneys or whatever, is because, you know, you drink too damn much. You know, and you know, yeah, we all sad, but you know, we got a job to do. We soldiers. You know, we all catching hell. You know, you're not the only one. Like the scriptures say, the same thing you're going through is also accomplished in thy brethren. All right, so really, we just got to encourage each other, admonish each other, you know, and keep each other, you know, encouraged. So, you know, we can get that same penny. Like the scriptures say, there's one path between the both. Fire and water on one side, so one man can go on it at once. You know, so that means we got to follow the man that's in front of us. We got to follow the man and examples of the men that came before us, all right? And also use those examples of the men that didn't, that's not around no more, on what not to do. So we have not only examples in righteousness, we got examples in wickedness. We got examples on being diligent, and we got examples on being slothful. All right, we got examples on what to eat, and we got examples on what not to eat. We got all these examples of and then you hear the different stories from the different camp heads about brothers that came and left. Those are your examples. We bring it up all the time. All right, we bring it up. We bring it out all the time about Jake, who got puffed up in knowledge, and you know, they thought they knew something. So, you know, we have a spiritual radar when we see certain things. And if we corrected you through the spirit, that's because we didn't seen you before. All right, we didn't seen you before, you know, and now I understand. You know, the Apostle Ricard, you know, he used to always say, we've seen you dudes already. You dudes, we didn't been dealt with you dudes, you know, because that's through the spirit, man. Because niggas repeat the same shit, you know, and you know, it's not hard to spot a nigga, you know what I mean, especially if you spiritually inclined to it. you know. So it's imperative that we, we listen and take the guidance and the information to the men that came before us and that was set up before us, because what? They watch out for our souls. Hey, nobody has what you would call to pick with you, And sometimes the Lord will be doing that to see how you're gonna respond to the order and how you're gonna respond and go about certain things. All right, is you gonna go about it through the proper channels, or you gonna be a nigga about it? So just through the spirit, man. Stay educated in the spirit. Stay eating well, which is staying in the doctrine. Study to show thyself approved. Stay prayed up. All right. Stay humble. Stay hastening the day of Yahweh Shema Shah. All right. So with that, I just hope it was edifying. I want to give all praise and honor glory to Yahweh Shema Shah. Double honor to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone. And salutation, brothers, pushing this word with truth and said it with charity. Shalom and about the bar.